Hello, Utah gardeners. Hey, I just did my first layout of the year, and I figured I'd probably kind of show you my thought process and how I wanted to handle this particular yard. It's a little bit early. I mean, since it's still April, not a whole lot of stuff is leafed out yet. But I think that I can kind of show you through some of the plants that I used and why I kind of chose what I was doing and kind of what the homeowner wanted, and kind of give you an idea for some of your own yards. So without further ado, okay, so the backyard was pretty much the primary focus on this. The home builder already kind of did the front yard, and so I'm just kind of filling in some little areas here. So on the side yard, they left kind of a bit of a space, and so I don't have a whole lot of room to really work with. But I did a cosmopolitan miscanthus grass. It'll get kind of big and take up this area and kind of hide where this little power box is. And then these are kind of cool. These are called incisa, or Prunus incisa zuzu. It's like a dwarf flowering almond, but really kind of a cool flower, more like a Kwanzaa cherry. They're not very big because they kind of got chewed down a little bit by some rodents over the winter, but they'll bounce back, and they're really, really good. So, and then what I want to do here, this is a purple pillar hibiscus. I wanted it so that when you came through this gate, you saw something really kind of cool. Now it'll get about 10 feet tall, 2 feet wide, kind of an unusual little plant. And then I followed it up with another one of those zuzu flowering cherry shrubs. They get about 4 to 5 feet tall. We'll kind of soften this wall a little bit. The corner, black lace elderberry. You all pretty much know how big those things get, about 12 by 12. Those things are massive. They'll get huge in about 2 years. And then this little guy right here, this is a hydrangea quercifolia, or an oak leaf hydrangea. I did that primarily to kind of take up some space here. This one is called Snow Queen, should get about 6 to 8 feet tall. Flowers mid to late summer, but its fall color is really, really cool. It's usually a really bright scarlet red. Another cosmopolitan grass to kind of take up this space here, just because there's so much negative space in this area. Now these grow really fast. They get about 7 feet tall. Might even do it its first year. Lemony lace elderberry. I want to put that right here underneath the window. It's not going to really get any taller than that window. This is western exposure, so I'm hoping it doesn't burn up a little bit. This right here is actually a tree lilac. This one is called Julienne Hares. It's kind of unfair because I can get access to all the cool plants that nobody ever uses. So this one's kind of neat. I'm really excited to see this one bloom. Then my new favorite plant, these are butterfly bush. These are Pugster amethyst. For some summer color. They'll usually start going around July, and they just got to keep going. They only get about 2 by 2, so really easy to control, no maintenance. They work great. Then another purple pillar hibiscus. I wanted it to fit right on the other side of this window, just kind of go straight up and down. So it would just kind of go right through here, not really block any of the views at all. So and here's like their little patio. They're kind of walking over here a little bit. They're going to ditch this area here and probably put another deck or extend the concrete out. They haven't decided yet. So here's another purple pillar hibiscus to kind of soften this corner here. And then I don't have a whole lot of space here, so I decided to do a little tiny tot arbovita, get a little bit of evergreen color. I don't use evergreens a ton, mostly because nobody's really outside in the winter to enjoy them, so I don't really worry about them a whole lot. A lot of people think that they need to have evergreens in their yard. I don't particularly think so. Generally, I find deciduous stuff a little bit more interesting and a little bit more fun when you're outside to enjoy it. Now, this is kind of a cool plant. This entire wall here is going to be all that glitters viburnum. These leaves are really super shiny. Kind of sparkle in the light. I just kind of want to hide the fence and soften things up a little bit. Added another Snow Queen hydrangea, another zuzu flowering cherry. Now this is my favorite 9-bark right here. I know there's no leaves on it yet, but they grow really super fast. This one's called Amber Jubilee. You can jump on our website and see the pictures of the leaves. You will totally understand why I like to use this one when I can. They do not like secondary water that comes out of Utah Lake. They will fry and end up being dead within probably a couple of weeks if you're using that. So Eagle Mountain, Saratoga Springs, Harriman users, if you're on secondary water, I'm sorry, probably not going to fly. Even some parts of Draper, probably not going to work. This is another black lace elderberry. I really love that plant for taking up space. This here, Musashino zelkova, really tall, really skinny. Will probably get around 35, 40 feet in probably 30 years, but it only gets about 15 feet wide, very vase shaped, very ornate, very easy to control. Now this here, this is a little row of hydrangeas. I put 3 of them right here because I just want things to get big and kind of hide the neighbors a little bit, but still be colorful. This is a proven winner. It's called Zinfandel. Should get about 7 feet. And the stems are really strong, so unlike other hydrangea paniculatas, they're not going to flop over once they start flowering. Another purple pillar. I kind of set this one a little bit farther forward, and it's going to be kind of by itself. It's going to be more of like a sculpture piece because you don't really see that a whole lot in landscapes, and it's not that hard to really do. I like to make things a little bit more interesting instead of running just straight layers all the time of, like, you know, tall in the back, then medium size, and then short. I like to mix it up a little bit, throw something kind of unusual out there just to make it interesting. This is an At Last Rose. It's another proven winner. I was really impressed with this one. It's probably my new favorite rose. This is one they specifically bred to have fragrance back into it. And so since they're putting their patio right here, I wanted to make sure that I had a mass of something that was going to be beautiful and also smell really good. I like my landscapes to have a lot of sensory input, whether it's like through smells, you know, visual color, things that are kind of loud. That's what I really kind of like. This here is a velvet pillar crabapple. This is a new one. I've never used it before, but I really like its shape, and I like how well it's budding up for the spring. This flowering on this thing is going to be amazing. Another hydrangea quercifolia right here, another snow queen. This is another rose. I believe this one I did Sunurita. I can't remember. I'll have to look at the tag. We'll look at this one right here. See what this is. Mango salsa, that's right, because I wanted something a little bit more orange and red to kind of go with the yellow that the At Last usually is. So another massive killer here. Now these roses are actually really low maintenance. A lot of people think that roses are high maintenance. These ones that are bred to be shrub roses, these ones are awesome because in the spring you whack them back to, you know, maybe about like a third to maybe a quarter of their height from the previous year, and then they come back all nice and round, just like these ones are doing right now. And the other thing that I love about roses, they're one of the first things to leaf out, so you start to see signs of life very, very quickly. And if you prune them in the spring, you won't have to touch them again. So they're not a high maintenance plant. Another tiny tot. I'll kind of like intersperse things a little bit here to kind of give it some continuity. So it's not just a random splattering of everything. Another cosmopolitan grass, lemony lace. And then this here is a spring flurry serviceberry. So it's a tree form of a serviceberry. So I like to use these because they have a lot of cool features to them. They flower white in the spring, are kind of neat. A little bit more sparse, not super heavy shade. But what I really like about them is their fall color. It's a really cool orange that you get. And then here's the other rose that I ended up doing right through here. So this is going to just kind of fill in and just be an entire wall of rose. And then here, more amethyst pugster butterfly bush with another purple pillar, another lemony lace, another tater tot or tiny tot or whatever you want to call them. And then this here is a red balloon viburnum. I'm using this because I just want it to get tall and take up some space here. That's it. This isn't really a high traffic or high interest area, so I just wanted to get big and take up some space. So that's all I'm doing through there. So as you can kind of see, I've got plants exactly where I want them. I've got coverage where I want it. I'm kind of using the neighbor's trees in the background on the other side of the fence because that's going to be another part of a screen. So shorter stuff where I've got neighbor trees, taller stuff where I need to get my own coverage on here. I do have anchor points in the corners a little bit more, just because that type of symmetry kind of works. I think a little bit more. I do have a lot of my plants a little bit offset a little bit, so it'll be kind of a cool little texture as everything kind of grows in. So I walk around really quick and I'll show you what I kind of did to the front yard. It wasn't anything too crazy. I just had a small section that I needed to do. But like I said, they already had some stuff that was already here. You can tell a couple of daylilies. They have a container that I'm probably going to put a shade basket in because I am growing those in the nursery this year. I think I've got a handful left that are still available for all you homeowners, but if you want them, you better speak up quick. So this little area here, this is just kind of a huge area with the house, and it's just kind of empty. So I'm going to put in another black lace elderberry because it's going to grow at least half of the size of the side of the building right here. A couple of another Zinfandels, one on each side right here, so they'll just kind of take up all of this space. And then along the fence, I decided to try a golden ticket, golden privet. I've never really been a huge golden privet fan, but this one looks like the color's going to hold up a little bit better and be a little bit more yellow instead of green, and be a little bit less mangy than the other golden privets are. So that's just going to be a big wall of yellow. I kind of wanted to catch that from the road as people were driving by. I like things that are kind of eye-catching. Yellow's a good eye-catching color. And then I kind of wanted to travel, the eye to kind of travel a little bit farther this way, especially when the hydrangeas start blooming in July. And then, you know, this black lace elderberry is just going to be awesome pretty much all year. It's a great interest value plant. They just get so big, but you can trim them up and kind of keep them under control a little bit too. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks for listening, and good luck for this year for all you gardeners out there.